It doesn't have to be perfect. The point is to just take some unperfect action and make yourself uncomfortable. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Derek, aka Flippingahouse, and if you're new here, we talk real estate, financial literacy, and just how to get better, which relates with today's topic because it is a new year. People are working on their resolutions and they want to make some changes. And I want to give you guys some practical steps on how you can literally change your life in 2022. So let's get to it. Now, every time the new year comes around, we probably set these big goals and we have huge aspirations. But what happens a lot of times is there's no follow through. So we get going and we have a lot of steam and momentum, but then after a month or two, when we're doing the same thing over and over, we kind of lose momentum and things start to fall apart, or we just forget about it, or we don't care as much anymore. But I want to give you guys some practical tips and tricks that have helped me over the last 10 years go from being a broke college student to becoming an entrepreneur and breaking six-figure years and recently six-figure months, and actually changing my life and the trajectory of what I thought would happen with my life. Now, I want to let you guys know before we get started that some of the things I'm going to talk about are a little cheesy. You've probably heard them before, but I can assure you that they work and I'm living proof, so let's get into it. Number one, and I think the most important thing you could do to change your life or get on the right path, is changing your environment. Now, I know you've probably seen the quote that you're the sum of the 5 people that you hang around, and I gotta tell you, there's nothing truer. Most of the people that I associated with was either at school or at my job, and we were all kind of at the same level financially. And even though I thought positive and I had big goals, when you hang around people who don't necessarily think like that all the time, it can be a little draining when you have to go to work and be around these people for hours at a time or sit in class with them. Now, when I say removing negativity from your life, I'm not just talking about friends and co-workers. This could include family, and as much as I hate to say it, even a spouse. See, I live by the philosophy that if someone isn't adding to your life, they're taking away, and that could be someone that you truly love. Now, when I speak about spouses or your parents, most of the time they would like you to succeed in life. However, they're usually speaking from their comfort zone, so even though that they mean well, a lot of times what they say does not come across that way. But that's not for you to take it personally. That's for you to just understand that you need to distance the time that you spend with these people and the amount of time that you give them in your life. Now, I'm not saying call your mom up and cut her off or anything like that, but I will say there is a reason why I moved 16 hours away from my mom and I see her 5 or 6 times a year compared to every week or weekend. Now, I love my mom. She did what's best for me, but I'm just saying these are some of the things that you're going to have to realize. This is going to be a part of your journey to success or having bigger goals. Once again, I'm only speaking from experience, but let's keep going through. Now, you don't have to go through the extremes of moving across country. However, you're not a tree, you can move. So even if that means moving out of a small town to a bigger town, or moving to somewhere where people are doing what you want to do in life, it doesn't matter what that looks like. Just realize that it's not as hard as you think it is. A lot of times you just make excuses, and in reality, you just need to make yourself uncomfortable, which you're going to hear me say a lot in this video. Now, something you can also do while you're making this transformation is listen to podcasts, audibles, watch positive YouTube videos like my content and many others that are on YouTube. But the point being, just take in positivity. It sounds so silly, but the world is a negative place as it is. Bad things are going to happen. So worry about what you can control. And that starts with putting positive things in your life and in your mind. Now that you've created space for new friends, you're like, I don't know how to meet these people. Well, you could always sign up for networking events. I know in Houston, there's plenty. You can check out meetup.com, and there's literally meetups all over the city. It doesn't matter if you're into trading cards or you're looking to grab a drink with a friend or you want to do a business networking. Just check it out, see what works for you, and just get out there and get going. It doesn't have to be perfect. The point is to just take some unperfect action and make yourself uncomfortable. A good way to also meet people is to sign up for intramural sports. I have a buddy who just moved to Houston, and one of the ways he's making friends is by playing kickball and basketball, football, and you can sign up for these leagues in your city. It costs maybe $30-$40 and it'll go for 6 weeks, and it's a great great way to meet people. The point being is new friends bring new opportunities. And if you're looking to make a change in your career or you're looking to do something with your life, I think it's important to share that with everyone, especially if you're in a community, because people that like you will also want to see you succeed, and they can make introductions for you, or maybe their company is hiring. It doesn't matter. Just whatever you're looking to do, just realize that new people bring new opportunities. It doesn't matter if you're sharing your ideas with them, or maybe you meet them and they tell you about an opportunity, and next thing you know, you're on a whole new career path. Like I said, I went from thinking I was going to be a petroleum engineer to now I do real estate full time, and that's not exactly how I planned my life to go, but because I met some random people along the way, they kind of guided me down this new path, and I think the same could happen for you as well. Now, throughout your day, you probably have some downtime, or when you're driving in your car. I think it's just important throughout the day to fill your life with positivity, and one of the ways that I do that is by listening to audibles or podcasts or YouTube videos or something that I'm just studying or I'm passionate about. It just really gets my mind working, and it also brings in new ideas. And if we're going to make changes, you have to realize that nothing changes if nothing changes. Meaning that if you're constantly doing the same things and you're not trying to learn anything new or bring new people in your life, you're probably going to be in the same situation in 5 years. And that's why I'm here to help you, because if you do make these small changes, you can literally change your life. But now that we've changed our environment, let's talk about something else that's really helped catapult me forward in my life and can help you change yours this year as well. And that's by lowering your expenses. Now, I know this probably isn't the most exciting topic, and you're like, Derek, I'm not here to watch another Dave Ramsey video. And don't get me wrong, I love Dave, but I don't agree 100% with his philosophy. So just hear me out. When I became an entrepreneur, I quickly realized that money isn't always going to be coming in. So something that me and my girl did early on was we looked at all of our expenses and we figured out how can we lower these to start putting some money aside, which we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the video. So let's talk about some of the ways that you can lower your expenses. I think the best place to start is to track your expenses. For 3 months, you should use, even if it's an Excel sheet, a journal, it doesn't matter. Look at where all your money goes. Do not change the way you're living for 3 months and see where all that money's going. Now, I'm not telling you to cut out your Starbucks coffee every day, but I think you should really look at the areas that are big ticket items of where your money goes. And for us at the time, that was our housing and our cars. See, a lot of people have material items, but they don't actually own them. And we get into a lot of debt, especially when it comes to cars, whether that's keeping up with the Joneses or we just feel like we deserve it. But no one should be paying over $600 for a car just because. So for us, what we did was we actually lost both of our cars in a flood. And instead of going back into debt, we decided to buy cash cars. Now, if you're wondering what is a cash car, this is literally just a car that you go out, you purchase for cash. And we purchased a $1,500 car, and then we purchased a $5,000 car, and we just paid those off with a little bit of money we had in savings. But now all that extra money that was going towards those cars, we could actually save, which I'll talk about in just a little bit when it comes to how to save properly. Now, like I said a couple times in this video already, this was not comfortable for us, and neither are some of the things that you're gonna have to do, and that's okay. It's only gonna be temporary, a small amount of time. So not only did we get cash cars, but we decided to move in with her parents. They were able to rent us a couple of rooms for half the price of our rent at the time, which I think was $1,200 or $1,300. So automatically, between the cars and the living situation, we were able to start saving over $1,000 a month, and our plan was to do this for a year. Now, as you know, living with family can be a little tough, and it may not be family, it may be a friend, or there's even websites where you can look to rent rooms as you would a house. But the point being is it's going to be very uncomfortable no matter who you live with. But in real estate, this is something that we refer to as house hacking, and that just literally means you have a house or apartment, whatever your living situation is. The idea is to be able to live minimally or even free if you can get your rent covered. Now, another way that you can do this effectively is by buying a home or using your conventional loan to buy a home, even up to a fourplex, and renting out either the bedrooms or the extra space available to cover your living expenses, and then you could actually live for free. But I'll make another video about that down the road. The point being is you want to reduce your living costs, as that and your car are typically your two biggest items. But now that we've reduced our expenses, we need to look at number 3, and it's just as important, and that is increase your income. See, it doesn't make sense if you lower your expenses if your income doesn't increase, right? right? Because we want to make this gap really huge and take all of this extra money. Now, one of the best ways to get started increasing your income, I think, is to start right where you're at. Like literally look around your house or wherever you stay and look for items that you could possibly sell. Now, whether that's on eBay or even in Facebook Marketplace, there's probably a lot of items that you don't touch or haven't touched in many months that could really be making you money that you could then put into your savings. Now, the next thing that you could do is work more hours at your job. Now, it doesn't matter if that's extra hours on the weekend or maybe you hit overtime and now your pay is increased. Once again, either way, it's not going to be comfortable and you're going to be working a lot. But the point is, it's only for a temporary amount of time. It doesn't matter if that's this year, 6 months, whatever your financial goal is to get you set up. The point is, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you could work extra hours at your job, and I'm sure they would be happy to help. And even by you stepping up and doing that, they may be able to give you more benefits or maybe even a higher paying position where you don't have to work as hard. Now, if your job doesn't have room for growth, don't be opposed to looking around at new jobs. It doesn't take long and you can hop on Indeed and just see what's out there. Now, I'm not saying go quit your job tomorrow. All I'm saying is do not be opposed to looking for better opportunities, as most jobs aren't nearly as loyal to you as you are to them, and don't let that go over your head. Now, the last way that I could see that you could possibly increase your income would be to pick up an extra side hustle or a second job. I like side hustles because it gives you extra time, but I'm also not opposed to picking up some shift at a restaurant. I like restaurants because they're very flexible. When I was in college, I worked as a server and I even bartended a little, but it's a good way to make some quick cash in a little amount of time. And even if you just gave them 1 to 2 days a week or on the weekend, it's extra money that you can put in your pocket. So now you're in a better environment, you've lowered your expenses, and you've increased your income. And now it's time for number 4. The most important thing that you can do is to save that extra money that you have and put it to the side. There's just something so powerful about paying yourself first. See, we pay the bills, we pay for the kids' sports, we pay everybody else, but we always forget about ourselves. And if you wait till the last, you will not have anything left. But if you pay yourself first, not only are you going to build self-confidence in who you are and your abilities to control money, you're also going to be able to realize that you're the most important person in this piece. And if you don't have any money set to the side, you're setting yourself up for failure. Now, I'm a big component in a lot of the things that Dave Ramsey teaches, and I think that you should start with an emergency fund because, like we said before, bad things are going to happen, so you might as well be prepared. Whatever that looks like for you, but I say $1,000 to $2,000 is a great starting point, and then you can start a separate pile for different goals that you may have. I don't want you to overcomplicate this and think that you have to have a savings account set up and do all this crazy stuff. For me and my girl, when we got started, we used an envelope system where we just set up 3 to 5 different envelopes, and every day that we worked and received cash tips, we would put a different amount in each envelope and then watch it grow over time. Now, it's important that you do set up a savings account at a certain point, but I just want you to get started. You know, sometimes we put all these barriers in our head, and I think that it's just important to just get going today. I think one of the best ways to set yourself up for success is by even setting up automatic payments, whether that's weekly or every couple weeks when you do have a banking account, just so that that money gets set aside automatically and you don't even have to think about it. Just like an extra bill, you're just paying yourself. But now that you have this money and you're watching it slowly grow, I think you need to understand that regardless, inflation happens, and especially the things that we've witnessed over the last couple years as prices rise, it's important for you to grow that money, not just by you working harder, but also by you working smarter. And I think one of the best ways to do that is by investing. And when I say investing, it doesn't mean just real estate and stocks. You could be investing in a startup company, a 401k. It doesn't matter what that looks like to you. The point is, study, figure out what type of risk you're willing to take, and then start taking action. Just like you're saving, start investing a small amount, and I promise you over time it will grow. The point is, you can't just leave it in a savings account, as the return is usually less than 1%. And as we know, inflation grows a lot faster than that. Now, I want to remind you guys that I am not a financial advisor, nor do I claim to be. But I just want to share with you all some tips and tricks that's worked for me over the last 10 years to literally give my life a complete 360. And I've done everything that I talked about in this video. I moved from a small town to a big city like Houston. I lowered my expenses by moving in with my girl and getting rid of our car notes and buying cash cars. I increased my income by learning about real estate and waiting tables while doing so. And then I put a lot of money to the side, and I continue to do so that I can reinvest into real estate, crypto, and some other businesses that I'm working on. My point being, get out there, get uncomfortable, take some risk, and take some action, guys, because it can literally change your life this year. If you guys have made it this far, I sincerely appreciate it. And if you like this content, you should check out some of my other videos and some of my vlogs if you want to see what it's like in the daily life of a real estate entrepreneur. If you're not already, make sure you're following me on Instagram and TikTok. Like, subscribe, share this video, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, peace.